How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Samurai here. Today, I think we're going to look to do what I don't typically do, which is going to be a traditional draft. I've only drafted Zendikar Rising one time so far. Core 2021, I've been doing a little more frequently. I did one quick draft for Zendikar Rising. I'm not 100% sure what the best drafting archetypes are. I know that Landfall is a pretty powerful theme in this set. Rogues seems to be pretty good and easily draftable as well. We're going to pair entrance fee. We're going to find out who we're going to be drafting with today. I really find it unfortunate that we don't get to play against the people that we also draft against. I hope that there's a way that they can implement that sometime in the future as a way to better emulate the real life drafting experience. I also think that it's really annoying how long it takes to do the draft, so there's a chance that a lot of this might end up being getting edited out, especially things like this where we're waiting for just one additional player in order to start the drafting process. But I do think that the drafting process against, or rather with, all the other players is really interesting and really pretty fun. I just hope that there's a way that they can add in the future a way to play against the people that you draft with. Alright, so here we go. Starting off with our first pick. We've got a Legion Angel as a rare. When it enters the battlefield, reveal a card named Legion Angel from outside the game, put it into your hand. So you would have to sideboard in another Legion Angel to utilize this. A 4-mana 4/3 flyer isn't the worst thing in the world either. I do like this Vastwood Fortification / Vastwood Thicket quite a bit. Thundering Spark Mage. More creatures in your party. That's right. Party is a huge theme in this set as well. Is there anything else that's just really good in this pack? Canopy Baloth is pretty decent as far as landfalls go. See, I don't think we're ever going to get another Legion Angel. If we did, it'd be really lucky. Disciple Cleric, or Demon's Disciple, is actually not a bad card either. Forces the opponent to sacrifice. I'm pretty much between this and this. I think we're gonna take... Nah, I lied. I'm gonna take the land. Alright, so... Last player didn't take the rare. I think Valakut Awakening is not bad. I really like these MDFC land cards. They give you a lot of value. Looks like in Boros we have sort of a warrior theme. There's a lot of warriors here. I'm gonna take the Valakut Awakening. I like how much utility you get out of the double-faced cards. So here we have another one. Akum Warrior. Pretty bad, it's just a Minotaur Warrior. But it's another double-faced card, which I think is pretty nice. Draga Visionary, I think, is a pretty good card. It cycles for 4. Mirasa, Synchronized Spellcraft. Yeah, that's going to be hard to utilize as well. Turn Timber Mystic, 5/4 that you can use to heal. I think I'm actually going to take the Akum Warrior. I think I'm going to get as many of these MDFC cards as possible. Inordinate Rage. This isn't a bad little combat trick. Tormenting Voice is decent card draw. Scale the Heights is a heal 2 plus a token, or plus a counter, plus a cycle. That's a lot of utility in that one card. Inordinate Rage, I think, is quite good too, and it also lets you scry. I think I want to take, in this situation, Inordinate Rage. So we're already looking a little bit like we're drafting into Gruul. There's still time to pivot off of that pretty early into the draft. Scavenge Blade is a +2/+0 equipment that attaches immediately upon entering the battlefield. Scorch Rider, potential 4/3. It's got that warrior on it too. Scythe Cat gets a +1/+1 counter upon landfall triggers. I think that's pretty good. That's a little bit of scaling that we can get out of this deck. Cinderclasm. Deal 1 damage to each creature 2 if it's kicked. I think we're looking to have the board presence a lot of the time, so I don't think we're going to be behind to be playing Cinderclasm. We could go with another Inordinate Rage. Reclaim the Waste is not necessarily mana ramp. It's more mana fixing. But I don't think that's too bad. I think we're going to take the mana fixing here. So Taunting Arbor Mage is a 2/3. When he's kicked, creature is able to block target creature this turn. Do so. I don't think that's very good. Dauntless Survivor enters the battlefield as just a 2/2. Meh. Trample. Whenever Grotag Bugcatcher attacks, it gets +1/+0 until end of 10 for each creature in your party. I don't think that's going to be happening too frequently. I guess I'll just take the Dauntless Survivor. He gives a little bit of utility to give other things counters as well. Rubble Fort. Creatures you control have haste. That's interesting. Expedition Champion gets +2/+0 if you control another warrior. 3 mana 4/3. Spring Mantle Cleric enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each color mana cast to spend it. So I think a lot of the time it's just going to be a 5 mana 4/5, which isn't spectacular. Do we have warriors yet? We have 1 warrior, 2 warriors. We might be able to utilize the warrior theme here a little bit. So Might of Murasa is probably the pick here. What does Cleansing Wildfire do? Destroy target land as controller gets a basic, and use cycle to draw a card. Oh, that's pretty nice. 2 mana cycle. I'm between Might of Murasa and Cleansing Wildfire. I think we're going to be attacking a lot, and I think I want Might of Murasa. Adventurer awaits. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Reveal a creature card from among them. Put it into your hand. If you didn't put a card in your hand, you still draw a card. So this is always cycling or tutoring you a card. Spare Supplies just draws you 2 cards. That seems really good. I like that a lot. Here's the Might of Murasa being offered again. I think that's likely our pick. Turn Timber Ascetic, if it was a warrior, I'd probably want that. It's not. So between Scale the Heights and Tormenting Voice. We'll take Scale the Heights now. We have a good number of other ways to draw cards, so we'll take the Scavenge Blade. It's the only playable card for us. Lynx goes into the sideboard. Alright, so Inscription of Ruins are rare, but I don't think we're going to be using that, unfortunately. Nothing here in the rares or uncommons are cards that we're going to be playing. I think we'll probably just take the Expedition Champion. It fits in with our theme. Sizzling Barrage deals 4 damage to target creature that blocked this turn. I don't think we're going to get to utilize that often. Usually if we're attacking their blocking, we want that to be a favorable trade for us. Alright. Oh, Balagad Recovery. Now, I know that's a fantastic card, but let's see what Roiling Vortex does. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, each player takes 1 damage. Whenever a player casts a spell if no mana was spent to cast that spell, Roiling Vortex deals 5 damage to them. And you can stop your opponent from... This is a constructed card. So we're taking Balagad Recovery. We're definitely starting to want a few more creatures. I think our creature pool is a little bit low right now. Canopy Baloth is probably pretty nice. 4 mana 4/3 that can go up to 6/5 when you play a land. I don't mind having a sub-theme of landfall because I know landfall is very powerful in this set. Take the Baloth. We definitely need as much creatures, so we want to be a creature-focused, attack-focused deck with what we have here. We're hoping to just play a lot of stuff on curve. Be aggressive. Hopefully we get to go first. Go first as much as possible for sure. Veteran Adventurer. Costs 1 less to cast for each creature in your party. I think we really only have warriors, so he's only ever going to be a 5 mana 5/5. Spitfire Legat gives us a little bit of inevitability with the just having a decent body and dealing 1 damage to the opponent every time you play it. Turn a land you control to your opponent. When you do, deal 2 damage to each opponent. I think I want the Legag. Plus, the more Legaks you have, the better. If you can have like 2 or 3 Lagacs and have them all on the board, every time you play a land, you're doing some significant damage to the opponent. Spikefield Hazard is a really nice pick. We're starting to get a lot of tapped lands, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried about that, but they can also just be played as decent utility. So I think we'll take the Hazard here. Charge counter at 2 mana. Okay, so we don't need the Throne. Interesting choice, though. Molten Blast can deal 2 damage or just destroy an artifact. It's not terrible. Fireblade Charger, I think, we're aggressive, but I don't think we're this aggressive. I don't think we're burn. I'd like a little bit of removal since we don't have any. Fissure Wizard. When it enters the battlefield, you can discard it. Okay, so this loots on a small body. And we need creatures, so I think I like that one. Draga Visionary, I was talking about that earlier. It's not a warrior or anything, but it does cycle us, and it's a 3/2 body. Alright, so here, again, I don't think we want Sizzling Barrage, because we don't want the opponent to make favorable blocks against us. We don't have a lot of party options. I think we only have warriors and that one wizard. So I think we're actually taking the 1/4 with reach. That's probably going to get cut. I don't think it's very good. Here's Roiling Vortex again. Nobody wants it. 3 mana, 3/2 Ardent Electromancer. When it enters the battlefield, you add red for each creature in your party. That triggers with himself, it seems like. So you're going to at least get 1 red. Maybe we can get 2 if there's warriors on the board. We already have 1 Scavenge Blade. We don't want multiples of those, so we'll take a little bit of Rage. Utility Knife. Give a creature +1/+1 when it enters the battlefield. I think that gets cut, but at least it's playable. We're not too upset to see Scorch Rider. Down to our last pick here. Sizzling Barrage. I think everyone has the same idea as me, where that card's not very good. Alright. Song of Mad Treachery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it, and it gains haste. So that's a 5 mana attack of Act of Treason. That doesn't seem very good. Roiling Eruption, deal 3 damage. If it's kicked, deal 5. I think we could use a little bit of removal. Song of Mad Treachery. Maybe you steal a win with this game every once in a while. But I think we need the removal. We have very little removal. Like I said, we are very much a creatures-based attacking deck. Having a little bit of removal to compensate for that can be really helpful. But you definitely don't want too much. I think we're going to lean heavy into the creatures. Poor Jai here is getting a little bit overwhelmed by her picks. Packs are stacking up. Alright. So we're not getting a ton of great options here for us. Gnarlid Colony, I think, is probably going to be our pick. We really don't have many options, unfortunately, so I guess we are going to take the Colony. We're going to wait again for Jaya. Jaya's got 4 packs stacked up now. We can start kind of skimming through our deck and looking at cards that we're going to be cutting. Our card is actually looking quite nice. A little bit more high-end would be useful. Here's another Colony. Thundering Spark Mage. We only have warriors and wizards, so this is really not going to be dealing much damage. If we can get a deal 2, I mean, that's nice. I don't know if it's good enough to consider picking. I don't really care for the Hellhound. Again, we're aggressive, but not that aggressive. And we take another Colony. Gives us a... It's a 2-drop, but it also can be a 5-drop, and we have no 5s. Pyroclastic Hellion. It's a nice body. It also gives us a way to trigger additional landfalls. And we need those 5s. 1 mana 1/1 with Death Touch. I haven't seen that yet. I think that's actually very good. So we're between another Inordinate Rage and another Scale the Heights. I think regardless of which one we pick, we're probably going to cut one. We could also take the Seagate Colossus just for a big card. Maybe we can get it to cost 5 sometimes. Yeah, I think that's the pick. We need a little bit of late game. We have very little at this point. I think this Electromancer is better than the champion here. Because if we can drop this in and get 2 mana off it, it might give us additional plays on the turn we play it. That's optimistic, but it's possible. Let's look at the deck. We could use some more 4s. So we could get the Zendikar or the Scorch Rider. Even if the Zendikar, if the elemental dies, we get another land to try to trigger more landfalls. I think I like that. We'll take the card that cycles Wildfire. I don't think it really matters what we pick here. I think all of these are getting cut. We'll just pick the guide because we don't have one yet. Speaking of guides, it's irrelevant what we pick here. Everything we pick at this point in the draft is probably getting cut. Tormenting Voice has a chance to make the main deck. A chance. I don't think it's a good chance because we have a lot of other cards that are already cycling for us. We have a lot of cards we're going to have to be cutting. Another Wildfire. Alright, so I think we drafted kind of well. I'm definitely not upset in any way. I don't think we're going to take the guide. The Blight Blade will stay. Reclaim the Waste I think can stay. I think we keep all of these MDFC cards, like Spikefield Hazard and Basswood Fortification. Utility Knife, I think, is out. Cleansing Wildfire. We'll keep one in. We might cut the other one. Fissure Wizard, I think, is nice. It's a nice loot effect plus a body. Royal Eruption, small amount of removal that I think we need. Sizzling Barrage, I think, is bad. Tormenting Voice. This is a tempting card because it is going to get us deeper in the deck and it's going to draw us cards. But I do think we have just a bunch of other ways to cycle, like spare supplies. If we ever can get the Valakut Awakening to go off, that's going to draw us a ton of cards. I play this in one of my Wheeling Commander decks, and it's really fun. Balagate Recovery is great. Scale the Heights is another card that's going to help us cycle. Snarecaster, I think, is probably not great. And we have several other 3s that we can be playing. So let's drop that one off. Scorch Rider, Spitfire, Lookout, Canopy Bailoff. Another card that's cycling. We have just so much cycling, I think, that we are just going to drop off the Tormenting Voice. So we have to cut 10 more cards. We might get rid of an Inordinate Rage. I don't know if we want 2 of them. Hellion, Aqua Warrior, and Seagate Colossus. This deck has a fairly low, it's going to have a fairly low mana curve. We might end up cutting a land. I think 16 is probably going to be sufficient for a deck. Actually, we can probably cut quite a few lands. We have so many of those MDFC cards. How many MDFCs do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 5. I think because of that, we can cut probably 1 of each land. That helps thin out the deck a little bit. We just have so many of those. I think they're, like I said, I think that's why you draft so many of these. Because it lets you thin out a couple of the basic lands from your deck. I think Gnarly Colony is probably better than the Survivor. But we have some amount of synergy with Warriors and Wizards. I don't think the Scavenge Blade is great. If it didn't immediately attach to your creature, I think I'd cut it without even thinking about it. I do find this to be by far the hardest part of any draft, trying to figure out what you want to cut. So I think a lot of these cards are actually surprisingly good, especially if we can go first. I think we'll cut 1 Might of Murasa. We'll cut 1 Inordinate Rage. Having the combat tricks is nice, but you don't want to have too many of them in case you're ever thrust into a situation where you don't have any creatures on board. That's another reason why I think the Scavenge Blade just goes down in quality. I think we will drop that off. I think Scavenge Blade might be one of those trap cards. Alright, so we're a little heavy in the 3s, so we're probably going to look to start cutting a 3 or 2. I think I want to keep Molten Blast. The Scythe Cat I think is very good. So basically we're looking at, do we want to cut Electromancer or Expedition Champion? If we can get that bonus mana from the Electromancer, and it's when he enters the battlefield, so he should trigger off of himself to give you at least 1 mana. I think we'll cut a champion. If we can ever get this to give us 2 mana, that's really significant. So I gotta cut a couple more cards. I'm thinking maybe in the 4s, Scorch Rider is probably the worst one, so we'll cut 1 Scorch. I kind of like the Zendikar. The only bad thing about the Zendikar, if you want to utilize the haste, you have to do it when you're on 5 mana. Because if you try to play the enchantment on one of the lands that you have tapped to pay for Nissa Zendikar, the elemental will go onto the battlefield still tapped. I learned that by playing it before. Okay. So if we're counting our lands, we have 15. Technically we're at 20. So I'm very tempted to even cut another land or 2. Because we have so many of those MDFC cards. If we get any of those in our opening hand, we're just going to play them as the tapped land. Almost always. So I think because of that, we're a bit flooded. So I think we cut a few more lands. We'll go down to 13 basics, and we'll have 5 MDFCs. It's going to put us at effectively 18 lands, which is even possibly a little high. So we're going to want to cut 1 more card, but I don't want to cut any more lands. Cleansing Wildfire might be a cut. Or we can cut something else in the 3 range. I don't have any other 3s that I would like to cut right now. I think we'll get rid of... I think we will get rid of the Wildfire because we have another card that's cycling on for us on 2 with the spare supplies. And that can draw us an additional card after the fact. Alright, so that's the deck. A sort of Gruul mid-range kind of tempo deck. Yeah, we're going to hop into it. See how it does. I think there's a chance this deck could be powerful. I think the bane of this deck is going to be any removal-based deck. If anything can go 1-for-1 for us, I think we're going to run out of value and then lose out in the late game. So here's hoping that doesn't happen too frequently. I think this deck becomes way better when you're going first. I mean, you could probably say that about every deck, but I think this one in particular. So we're up against Squirrel Mob. Squirrel Mob won the coin flip. I'm assuming they will pick to go first. Yeah. Okay, so we're already at a bit of mana fixing issues. So unlikely to happen in this deck. I honestly think I'm going to keep this hand regardless because we can play Fissure Wizard still on 2, which will help us get to green mana source. So we're going to play Valakut Stoneforge. That one's going to come in tapped. Opponent has the same idea with the MDFCs. Good cards. We do really need to draw into our green mana. If we don't, we're going to be super sad. So the question is, what are we going to get rid of with the Fissure Wizard? I think it's probably going to be the C8 Colossus. Alright, still no land. I mean, at least if we get mana screwed on the first game, there's a good chance we lose the game anyway, so we're not as upset. We'll be really upset if we get mana screwed on game 2. If he attacks, we'll take this block. I don't think he's attacking, though. He's got the Warrior Synergy. We drew into a tapped land. It's also green. not happy to see that at all. Opponent's got the whole party activated. Look at this. Cleric, Rogue, and 2 warriors. Wow, this hand is really something else. We've not seen a green mana yet. This is looking really bad for us. Opponent got to go first. Opponent had perfect. The opponent has running a perfect mana fixing so far out of a really ridiculously low curve. We have a really low curve too, but it doesn't do us any good when we don't draw any of our mana fix. This is exactly what I was talking about with this card, and I think it makes it absurd if you can get it to trigger its effect. Opponent has the entire party. Thing is, everything but a cleric. He actually now has a cleric. Check that out. I don't think he's gonna have the same success next game. Maybe he will, though. That would be something else. Opponent, I guess, is deciding who or what he wants to attack with. Alright. I don't think we can... Actually, I think we have to block. This is horrible for us. Alright, so we got a land. It's nice. I think we're going to Hellion and return the mountain to destroy the bug catcher. Oh, never mind. It does the opponent. It does damage to the opponent. I was thinking it was targeted for some reason. I mean, if he makes this unblockable, I'm pretty sure we just lose. This will be doing 5. Yeah, that's good. Alright. So we're in heavier into green. And for some reason we have more red, so maybe we'll switch that around. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make. I think we just got very unlucky in game 1. Yeah, so we'll be playing. This is looking a lot better. But tap land. We'll go Fissure Wizard next turn, probably. We might drop the Molten Blast. We might keep it too. No reason to show him yet that we got the green. Molten Blast, I think, is going to do a lot against his deck. He's playing a lot of small creatures, so we might hold on to it. I think we're going to drop a... I might regret this, but I think I'm going to drop a Forest. Bug Catcher again. Play out our Forest. I think we're going to go ahead and cycle now. Play the Recovery tapped. Next time we're going to have access to effectively 5 mana. Alright, so he's going to get rid of my Electromancer and my Molten Blast. I'll probably pick Molten Blast. I think the Electromancer is probably a better pick. I'm surprised he's using his entire turn 3 to discard 1 card from my hand. Yeah. So we're actually going to be able to go... I think what we want to do is go Electromancer into the colony. Or do we wait? And next turn we'll play it as a 4/4. Probably better. We can do some extra damage with the scry here. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna go hyper aggressive. There's another colony, so we can play this guy. Make sure that we play on our land so that we have that play next turn. So we're gonna go colony. It's gonna put us in a decent position. We're hoping he has no big bodies. He didn't show any big bodies last game. Yeah, that's not it. He might attack here. I'll let that go through. That's fine. We're way ahead as far as aggro is considered. Opponent will probably have to trade off his pack beast here. We'll follow it up with one colony. Following turn, play another colony. That's gonna go down to 8. Look her rebirth. Turn to the backup. Okay, so he's gonna bring it back. I'm gonna pay the kicker for this. This additionally will give us a blocker if he does want to continue attacking. Pretty sure it actually has trample. If we put a counter on him. Alright, so now here's a question. Are we going to cycle this turn or play another colony? I think we'll probably play the colony. We're still all attacking. We have trample. We're forcing him into a position where he needs to block. So this is going to get 2 damage through. If he doesn't block the colony, he's dead. I guess he doesn't realize that. Going to game 3. He didn't realize it had trample. Very nice. Is there anything we would want to sideboard in against his deck? I really don't think there is. I think we were just so unlucky in game 1. He's gonna get to go first here again, I'm assuming. But yeah, he did not go off that game like he did game 1. He really just drew the nuts in that first game. I think it's gonna be hard for him to do that consistently every game. I'm happy to see this hand. We have a nice 2, 3, and 4, assuming we hit our land drops, which we do. Cool. Right. He's had that every single turn. Every single game we've played so far. He's hit that bug catcher. I'm gonna put the 1/1 on the survivor. That'll give us a blocker into the bug catcher. If he attacks, I think we'll probably take the block. You know what? Actually, I don't think we will. Yeah, I think we'll block. We can get 2 mana from the Electromancer, but we don't have any way to utilize that 2 mana yet. Ooh, 1 mana 4/3. Triple haste. Painful. Goes back to his hand though, so that's pretty aggressive. So here we're going to play the Expedition Champion. Rather than be optimistic and say that we're going to use the Electromancer to give us an additional 2 mana, I think there's a good chance it happens. So I'm glad that I attack with that. So here's a question. Do we take this trade? We have no warriors. I think I will take the trade. Seems bad, but he's playing so aggressively. So I think what we want to do here, play the Fortification as our tapped land, and then play the Electromancer. Because if he decides he wants to play this Charger again, it gives us a blocker for it. Next turn we're going this is Zendikar. He's getting close to being able to play this with the +1/+1 counter though. If he plays a land, that might be his play. What's this? Man, all of his stuff has haste. This spell costs 1 less for each creature in your party if other creatures you control have death touch. That's fine. Remember, a creature you control deals combat damage to the play. Okay. So that's just a really good 5 mana 4/4 flying haste. That's a little insane. Alright. Come on out. So this sucks because I think that we have to not attack with it. Because it has reach, we might want to be able to utilize it to block. Because he's going to play this with 5 mana haster too. We're in bad shape. Yeah. Control some of that removal. We might be able to stabilize here, but that's unlikely. I think we'll just... It'll be the curse of, oh wow. The curse of going second. I think if we go first, we're winning this game. It's gonna come back to the battlefield. We're flooding. Game's over. Alright, so... Match 1. Is unfortunately just going to prove exactly what I was saying in the draft, where I think this deck is going to be really good when we win the coin flip of going first, and probably get blown out when we don't. And like I said before, you can say that about pretty much any deck. The same was said for his in those last 3 games. Destroyed us going first and got obliterated going second. That's just one of those things that is very hard to account for when you're building your deck. Most decks are only going to be good going first. I don't know how many decks are ever going to be better going second. So that's just really a lot of RNG when it comes down to your runs. The RNG, it feels so much worse when you're playing in limited because you have to pay that entrance fee. When you're just playing in standard and you go second, sure it feels bad, but at least you didn't have to pay anything. You know, the consequences for going second are so much lower because you can just queue up in another game. Here we are losing the coin flip again. Pretty good chance that'll happen all 3 matches. At least our hand looks nice. Opponent had the mulligan. That's nice too. We're gonna play the tap lane first. Next turn, we'll either Blight Blade or we'll Reclaim the Waste. The opponent played nothing. This actually gives us, since he played nothing, it gives us a good chance to spare supplies. Just to cycle the card. If he has counter magic up, I don't think he wants to use it on that. Opponent skipped his first 3 turns. So do we want to take that chance? Take the opportunity now to play our tap lands again? I think we will. We can play Reclaim the Waste for its kicker next turn. So I think it's either better to play the Blight Blade or we can draw another card with spare supplies. I think we want to put something on the board. So we'll go for this. Again, he's not going to utilize his counter magic on this. Ruin Trap. So he's going to be looking to mill us. Doesn't mill anything significant. This seems very effective in this format. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to play our land and play our Electromancer. If he doesn't counter it, We will Royal Eruption the Ruin Crab. This is sorcery speed. We have to do this now. If we try to wait until doing it after combat, we'll lose our mana. So let's see if he counters this. Nope, gonna let the crab go. That might seem unnecessary, but I'm kind of scared of that crab. Opponent's milling again. Opponent is playing blue-white rogues. It's gonna block. Blade. Does he have a combat trick for that? Nope. Alright, so here's a question. Do we reclaim the waste to have the land so that we can go into Zendikar next turn? I think we do. What do we need? Forest. Okay. This will give us 2 good attacks next turn. Strike. We're gonna have 2 nice attacks this next turn. He would have to double trade to get the elemental. If he can go 1-for-1 with the Electromancer, that would be fine. We're ahead in cards. So here we go. I didn't see what that did, and I don't want to get screwed by the auto tapper, so we're just going to tap it manually. That way we can utilize the haste. We're on all attack. We're dealing 7 a turn, he's only dealing 4. That puts us at an advantage. And also taking care to not get screwed. This is going to be a 2-3 attacker. Okay, so what are we looking to do this turn? We can, prior to combat, try to throw down the Seagate Colossus. We could also play the Canopy Bailoff and hold on to our land. We need to decide whether we want to do this now or not, because if he blocks the Electromancer, we don't get to play the Seagate. So I think it's worth going for the Seagate Colossus. No, I don't. We're just going to attack, see what happens. Okay, so he's going to block everything. We might draw a card and then Fissure Wizard. Oh, that sucks. Let's play the Bailoff. I don't think we're in any rush to do the other plays right now. A 4/4 flyer. We don't want to take that. Not really favorable for us. So we're going to start triggering double landfalls. He's in a position now where he's really going to want to look to block this. So he's going to lose his 1/1. Yeah, any way around that. Target attacker and blocking creature deals damage to that creature equal to twice the... Alright, so that's actually going to deal up the Bailoff. We're going to spare supplies on his turn. I cannot believe he's managed to deal with these cards with what little mana he has available to him. He's coming in with 7. We don't want that block. So we can continue to scale with the Scythe Cat. Another 4/4 flyer. with Vigilance on top of that. So we'll play the Seagate. He's going to be swinging in at us for 8 next turn. We can't attack or else we leave ourselves open to lethal damage. Chance for that we're looking pretty dead here regardless. I think we actually want to Fissure Wizard and see if we can drill into anything that really helps us out here. Drop our Forest. Doesn't look like it. We can play this for the kicker, but we just don't have enough damage. If I gave Trample, maybe we'd have a chance. Let's just attack. We'll see what he does. Yeah, so we're done. I don't want to show him any more of our cards. So we'll just concede now. I don't want him to know that we have the combat trick or the deal 1. That's where we're going to be playing against him here again. We get to go first this turn. Or this game. Opponent might actually be sideboarding. Can't imagine he would. Doesn't usually make sense to do any significant sideboarding when you actually, you know, win. His deck looked like it was really doing what it's aiming to do too. It's easy to do that when you go first. I'm really harping on this. It's part of the game. Alright, Lumberjack. On LSD. I gotta imagine that would make cutting down the trees really difficult. That's kind of takes like a lot of coordination, scaling trees, using chainsaws, axes and stuff like that. I don't really think that's conducive to using hard drugs like LSD. Yeah, probably not helpful to be hallucinating. While doing a, you know, manual labor job like that. Alright, on to game 2. Be playing first. Good hand. We'll probably Fissure Wizard on 2 if we don't draw into a land. I want to make sure that we're hitting those land drops every single turn. Opponent's mulliganing again. Alright, so we will Fissure Wizard. We have 2 colonies, so I think we're okay with dropping one of them. So hit the land. It's a tap land. Hopefully we'll draw into one that's not tapped. Alright, so we get the tap land. I think we gotta play it. I'm very tempted to Royal Eruption to kill that now. Or we can play the Blight Blade. I think I want to Royal Eruption this. I want to keep going 1 for 1 whenever possible. Okay. We will attack first. These are both wizards, so we don't get anything off of that. Missed our land drop. I'm assuming he probably doesn't want to take this block. He might, though. Alright, so he takes the block. So we need to make sure we leave our green mana open. Actually, this doesn't work. So we have to tap 3, and our leftover mana that we get is going to be red. I think we just played the Blight Blade, then we get 2 additional mana from the Electromancer next turn. So we might be able to go was kicked. Okay, you didn't kick it. So we can go... We're going to get 2 red mana, which actually doesn't give us any good play. It's unfortunate. So we'll start with the hazard. We'll play that in tap. We'll attack. Don't let that go through. I think I want to just play the colony as a 2-2. Next turn, maybe we'll go Electromancer, Molten Blast. Alright. I'm not going to be taking that block. So let's attack first. I think he's on Zulaport Cutthroat or something to try to get rid of the Blightblade, just like he did last game. Very tactics. Alright, that's fine. I'm gonna play the Visionary to cycle. Opponent's keeping up with us pretty well. He's missing his land drops though, which is gonna benefit us pretty greatly. Alright. Let's attack first, see what he does. Okay, it's fine. So we're gonna go Electromancer. And then hopefully we can go into Expedition Champion. Nice. Fortunately no Warrior right now for the Expedition Champion. But our opponent continuing to miss his land drops is really helping us out a lot. So I actually think we're gonna do the 2 damage to the Geyser Mage right now. So we want to get this damage in while he's mana screwed. All right, he finally hits his mana. So he taps out to do that. Ooh. So do we play... The question is, do we play the Canopy Baloth? Or do we go Inordinate Rage Territorial Scythe Cat? I think that's probably better. He's probably going to block the 3-3 into the 2-3, and then we combat trick him. I should hopefully put this game away. He sees all the mana that we have open. Probably why he's thinking about this. Alright, Nissa Zendikar is actually something we would keep on top. That gives us a 4-4 face next turn. Play Scythe Cat. I don't think there's anything he can really do to come out ahead this game. Okay, perfect. I know I sound like a broken record, but this just continues to show the power of going first. All the games so far in this recording have all been decided by going first. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. I'm just trying to think if there's anything we would ever want to put in the deck over what we already have in there. I really don't think there is. Because we can't, there's no additional removal or anything that we can add. So I think we just kind of have to continue to play the deck that we have with the game plan that we have. Alright, he's certainly going to pick to go first. Looks like we will be mulliganing this game, which really blows. This is fine. I almost don't want to drop anything. Obviously that's not an option. I might send the Spikefield Hazard back. We already have all the mana that we need. But he's, I don't know, he's got some cards that we can hit with that. Maybe 2 Electromancers is unnecessary. Let's just drop one of them. I want to keep the 3-4 because I feel like the 3-4 body is going to work pretty good against him. Alright, he's going to be milling us like crazy. I turn 1 room. That's okay. So, one other good reason we kept the hazard around is so we can do this. Play out our survivor. It's crazy with the Ruin Crab, you really only have to play about, I don't know, 8 lands or something, and we're all but milled. I think we just play the Scythe Cat right now. No point to attack, he has an easy block. There's all our lands. All of our, literally all of our expensive cards have been milled. Already down to 22 cards. We do not hit a land. We're gonna attack. We want to try to get a good trade with the Might of Marasa. He probably knows that, so he's playing on the block. Yeah. Play out our Electromancer, although we can't utilize the mana. We're missing land drops now. Doesn't help out, he's milled. Quite a few of them. Scale the Heights. I would like to play Scale the Heights onto the Scythe Cat. And hope that we draw into a land. But it probably makes more sense just to play it on the Dauntless Survivor. Let's play it on the Scythe Cat. We don't have to attack with it. Man, we're missing all the lands. This blows. So we just attack with the Electromancer. He's not going to trade. Yeah. Three more cards. Well, not much lands. You're nearing your captain. Blocks you. Oh, we hit the land. Okay, cool. Finally. We have double combat tricks here. So I think we attack. Probably with just these. Okay, so now we might have Marasa. We'll get rid of that and you're the captain. Opponent's done a good job of milling us down, that's for sure. We might want to take a value block, Dauntless Survivor, into one of these. Let's see what happens. Actually, you know, there's really no reason to take that block. He's only doing 2 damage and he's losing one of his blockers. We have him at 9. We give him a card, but he's losing a blocker. Well, I kind of want to keep Inordinate Rage open. Wow, 2 life reach. Alright, so he's healing a lot. So be it. Missing the land drop again. Big bummer. Taking another value trade here. It's a forest. We definitely want as much land as we can get. Although he probably plays a land and just mills it anyway. That's the likely outcome. He'll be drawing another card when he attacks the Infiltrator. Yep, there goes the lands. This turn 1 Ruin Crab, the fact that he's done that twice also is just so painful. He's got a legendary creature. Making a combat on your turn if you have a full party. Choose target on their program controls. Right. He does not have a full party. It's not really anywhere close to having a full party. Alright, so we're gonna Royal Eruption, I guess. With Limbala. I think I'm just gonna start attacking with, no, that doesn't even. He just blocks it with the crab. We have 10 cards left in the deck. He only has to play 2 lands in this game, just earlier. Yep, here's one. Here's all our lands again. Just drawing cards. Start the block now. Yep. Another go second, lose game. Very unfortunate. This is just the theme of the run. We'll play our last match. If we lose the coin flip again, might just auto concede. Starting to feel a little bit salty now. See what happens. Playing Ugin. Okay, well, we are going first. With, what I would call a fair hand. I'm going to play the Bala Get Recovery tapped. We might actually use Valaka Awakening this game. Let's not show him that we have red mana yet. Maybe we'll end up Molten Blasting. Maybe we'll just do nothing. Looks like we're doing nothing. Alright. He's in blue-white again. Might be counter magic. Play the champion. That's good to see. Been seeing that card a lot. Alright, so let's scale the heights first. We will attack. We have a lot of cards in hand, so I think there's no reason not to play this out. What are we playing next turn? Something to block that, that's for sure. So he's attacking as well. I think we're going to play the Hellion. So the question is, do I want to return Valaka Awakening or Bala Get Sanctuary in an effort that we might be able to utilize one of their sorceries? We never use the one land we're getting this turn, so that doesn't matter. I think Bala Get. I like my hand, so I don't see any reason to cycle it. Let's play this out now, tapped. So do we attack here, or do we keep it back as a blocker? I'm just gonna keep going aggro. That's what we said. We want to attack with this deck as much as possible, so we're gonna keep attacking. Seagate Colossus. Actually not too worried about that. So we can actually Royal Eruption it. I think that's probably the play. No, that costs 7. I think what we would want to do, probably attack with just the champion. And hope that he gives us the opportunity to either Molten Blast it. Oh, actually, we can just Molten Blast it. Because it's an artifact. I wasn't thinking about that. Well, let's destroy it. We should have did that first. Obviously. Wasn't thinking about the fact that it was an artifact creature. So we should have did that first. It would have given us a better chance to get our attack through. So let's see what the opponent's playing now. This game's pretty close. Gain 3 life and draw 3 cards. Okay. Getting a lot of card advantage on us. Would we ever Bala Ged to get either of these cards back right now? I'm tempted to reclaim the waste to give us thin out our basics. One of each. So we will attack. If he double blocks, that's fine. Alright, so he's double blocking. We want to kill that one for sure. Inordinate Rage is sufficient if he doesn't play anything. That is definitely a card we want on top. Alright, so he has no response for that. We're quite a bit ahead on the board now with that play. Let's see how he follows up. Whenever you cast a kick spell, you get a 2/2 Drake. Okay. Let's Visionary first. If we get a warrior, we might want to play it to beef up the champion. Alright, so we didn't get a warrior. Let's go in. Alright. Hitting him for 7. Things don't look too bad right now. These are both sorceries. So we won't be able to utilize them on the opponent's turn. If we Bala Ged recovery, what are we getting back? We don't know yet, which is partly why I would rather wait and not do anything right now. So let's just wait. Whenever you cast a kick spell, draw a card, then discard a card. When it's the battlefield, look at the top 5. Reveal a card with kicker. No problem. Looks like he whiffed. We can play Might of Murasa with the kicker on anything that doesn't get blocked to win this next turn. Which is probably going to be the best play. Assuming he doesn't do anything else. He is on counter magic though, so we need to continue to remind ourselves about that. So how many cards do we have in our party? Just 2. I might Royal Eruption here to remove one of his blockers and give us a way better chance of getting in for lethal. And he might think he needs to use his counter magic now if he has it. Alright, so he's not sticking at all, which leads me to believe he doesn't have any sort of interaction right now. So this will deal 8 damage as it stands. Let that go through. Need this for anything else? I can't do math. Forget everything that I've said. I think I would want to Bala Ged and get the Visionary back. And draw us a card. Okay. Still think we probably win. That was a pretty big misplay, unfortunately. Alright, so again, some kickers. It's getting 3. Oh, man. Wow, that was a pretty big turn. Alright. Had I known he was going to be getting that back, would have been nice to have this Molten Blast. No way to know that's going to happen, though. So we're likely going to lose 2 of our creatures here. It's just going for the attack. Okay, so him logging like that means we can have the Hellion survive. Well, the question is, should we kick it or not? He's still got some mana open, but he hasn't had any interaction. He would have had to have drawn into it. Right, okay. This allows us to play our Colossus now. Actually, we might want to play the Colony with the kicker to give us something with trample. Help us put this game away. So now we'll have 2 creatures with trample. Keeps getting these Drakes though. He's only got 3 mana. 4 mana. Alright, so we'll both have to sacrifice a creature. Yeah, you don't get to choose, I do. It'll be the Expedition Champion here. Well, I made that game last a lot longer than it had to. But this should seal it. Well, almost gave the opponent a chance to get back into that. That would have been heartbreaking. Opponent realizing it's over, I guess. Unless he has something at instant speed to play on 1 black mana. Doesn't seem like it. Still don't believe there's anything that I would change. We drafted a lot of the same cards, so the sideboarding is not very, not too interactive, I guess you could say. It's hard to get a significant sideboard when drafting also, or maybe that's just a weakness of mine and something that I need to be focusing on more. I tend to not value highly sideboarding or sideboard cards playing in limited. Alright, so game 2. I am assuming we'll be going second. Yeah. That's fine. This hand's actually really nice. You can start scaling the Scythe Cat very early on. There's an argument for not playing this tapped, but I think we do. Next turn we'll spare supplies. We'll probably play the Scythe Cat. I don't think he can really remove it. That's a good card. Alright. Let's get that Scythe Cat out there. Hope we can't do anything to remove it. Alright, so we can. And it made no difference. He would have been able to remove it no matter what. That ends up being totally fine. So do we go Colony Survivor or play just the Survivor? I think the play is to play just the Survivor. And then we can draw a card with spare supplies. Because next turn then we can kick her the colony. I think that's better. We're still going to continue to get hit by this Null Priest over and over again, but there's nothing we can do about that right now. Alright, so he's drawing cards. We're about even in card advantage. Board state's fairly even. Considering that we went second, I'm not too upset where we're at right now. Alright, so colony. Kicks. Now we can start blocking that, which I think we'll want to do. Wouldn't try to get him off the board. There's a CD Colossus. We haven't drawn into our Molten Blast yet. Hopefully we'll get there soon. We can actually Spike Field Hazard that, which is going to be very strong as well. So I want to go... Do I want to go Scale the Heights? I think I'd want to Scale the Heights probably. Yeah. This will give us a blocker for Zendikar Colossus if we need it. Cool. Draw another land too. So I'm just gonna do nothing. Do I want to do this now while he has no open mana? I think that I do. Let's do it now. Alright, cool. Opponent's got a lot of cards. Destroy target creature or planeswalker, alright. We still have a block for this with the Inordinate Rage. So I'll try to get that off the field. We can also scry a little bit. We don't need any more land. Alright, so I think I will want to go Zendikar, start attacking with it. I don't think it matters what we put this on. We don't have a way to utilize the mana really anyway. We might Valakut Awakening to draw a couple cards. It could be a 3-mana draw 3 if we don't get anything good next turn. Could be 4 actually if he removes this, which I think would be worth doing. Okay, so there goes our hand. So we're now top deck mode. We can't attack now, so we have to leave something back to block that. Actually, that blocks it quite nicely. Alright, so we're way behind in card advantage. Secret Restoration. Man. Opponent's drawing cards. We got a mythic. Pretty good rare. Can't say we drafted quite that well. There's the Drakes. Drakes are back. I don't think we are in force shape here. Tempted a Royal Eruption. Probably will hit the Cell Sword. Actually, I think I'd rather hit the Squid. We could double block into this if he wants to. Yeah, that's fine. Clear up his board. Gives me a land I'm not going to play. Oh boy. Really, any significant card that he can play here is probably going to end this game. Our top decks aren't looking fantastic. So you get Colossus is probably the best thing we can get. Keep drawing more cards. Oh, drawing land. It's more or less a miracle this game is as close as it is anyway. Can't block him. I'm just gonna draw some more cards. If we draw another land, I think we just concede. Yep, there it is. Sometimes you just know. Sometimes you can kind of just feel it. You can just feel what's going to happen. You play the game enough, and you kind of get like a sixth sense for when you're going to get flooded. In a game like that, I feel like it's probably always going to happen. So this is our first match where we're actually getting to go first twice. See if that's going to be enough to carry us to victory. I think the opponent has a way better deck than we do. He just got offered, I think, probably higher card quality. We don't have any really powerful rares or mythics, but he does. So we'll be on the play. Man, this is iffy. It's playable. If we can draw into our third land, it gets a lot better. I don't think this hand is good, I will say. And if we don't draw that land, we'll probably be full of regret and just lose immediately. Alright, well we drew a land. Happened to be a tap one, but at least we got it. I'm hoping this lets us scale the heights. Okay, so we're being forced to discard. Royal Eruption I don't think is going to do a ton for us. Pyroclastic Hellion I don't think is doing a lot for us either. We gotta get rid of the Colossus, where it's going to be way too long till we can play that. Okay, so Colossus. And he's playing Colossus too, so I kind of want to hold on to this Molten Blast. Let's drop the Royal Eruption. Oh, that Visionary would have been nice. So we're hoping to draw into a land when we do this. Nope. So we're missing land drop. Let's see if the same will be said for the opponent. Because of that, we might end up just Fissure Wizarding here. Another land drop being missed. So would we ever Molten Blast to get rid of this? I don't think we would. I think we'd rather attack and hope to be able to Inordinate Rage to scry. Alright, land coming up at least. The trample through damage is nice as well. Wasn't a big part of that play though, it was more about just keeping the colony alive. Alright, so opponent's drawing cards again. Well, rather, putting cards into his hand. I'll probably give him some answers. So we're always attacking here. I'm a bit tempted to Fissure Wizard and get rid of the Hellion. Because Gnarlid Colony is probably looking like it's just better next turn. Drew a tapped land though. I still want to hold on to it. I want to play it as a 4/4. Alright. Infiltrator coming in. Alright, Alright, so we hit the other land. This gives us two options. We can play the kicked colony, or we might be able to do something with the spike field hazard onto the infiltrator. I think our better choice is just attack with colony right now, and then kick in the other colony. What I'm really hoping is he spends all of his mana to play a Seagate Colossus, and then we just Molten Blast it and that would end the game. That might be optimistic. If he does attack, I'm letting it go through. He can draw the card, that'll be fine. So he plays nothing. I think that means we attack with everything. Okay, so he's destroying this. Nothing we can do about that. Does he... Okay, he hasn't declared his blocker yet. He'll block that, which is fine. So we'll Spike Field Hazard it. I'm still very close to losing this game. Additional mana doesn't mean anything. So we're keeping this up as a very small removal, or if he plays that Seagate Colossus again, a way to just get rid of it. He needs to play 2 creatures. Or he's drawing cards. That looks good for us. That's 1 creature. That we can remove. 2 creatures we can remove. Alright, so it seems irrelevant what we do this to. I would rather do teal damage to the cell. Do the 2 damage to the cell sword. Attack in. I think this is hopefully for lethal. Alright, we got it. Go first win game. Every single game played in the entire duration of this run was decided by who went first. Every single game. That's so crazy. So unfortunately, we only win 1 best of 3. Which really sucks. Especially considering the cards that we drafted were really mediocre. So it's not like we even drafted anything really significant. We're gonna open up a couple packs here. Try to end on a little bit of a better note. Maybe we'll open something cool. But yeah, I hate to just continue harping on how much of a win differential there is between going first and going second, especially in limited. If you enjoyed this, I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more limited content coming up, doing some more drafts. I think in the future we're probably going to just be playing more quick draft. I just don't think it feels as bad because you're not going to be ending up in that situation that I was in a lot of those games where you're going second just for the entire match. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please stick around and check out more of my content as it gets uploaded. Have a great day.